Hey guys, welcome back. Today, let me take you to a place that shouldn't exist on the planet. A place where money, guns, and technology collide. And where human life is the cheapest thing you can treat. On October 2023, deep in the northern part of Myanmar, a region called Kokong, right on the Chinese border, a man was dragged out of a cell in the middle of the night. He was Chinese, one of thousands trapped in a so-called telecom park. He didn't know why they picked him. All he saw were flashlights, uniforms, and rifles. And then a gunshot. Later, locals said it was part of a ceremony, a blood oath. In Chinese, they called it 投名状. You want to join the gang, you have to kill someone first. That's how they seal loyalty in this world. Victims like him were often chosen completely at random, plucked from the street, unlucky to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. That single gunshot marked the start of the darkest chapters in Southeast Asia's modern history, the rise and fall of Myanmar's traditional scam empire. For years, northern Myanmar was ruled not by one government, but by families. They called them the Four Families: Bai, Wei, Liu, and Ming. Each one controlled its own army, its own police, its own business empire. Most of these warlords originally came from China. They were criminals who fled across the border and took root in Myanmar, building their fortunes the old-fashioned way, through drug trafficking. In time, they realized there was something far more profitable than heroin: telecom fraud. No need to smuggle drugs when you can smuggle hope through phone calls. At first, these syndicates targeted China. They spoke Mandarin, posing as police officers, bank staff, or even long-lost relatives. But once China cracked down, they went global, recruiting anyone who could speak English: Filipinos, Thais, Vietnamese, or even Africans. Some were tricked, kidnapped, or sold into those compounds. Others went willingly, tempted by the promise of high-paid tech jobs. But once inside, no one was free. From the outside, these places look like modern tech parks: glass towers, LED lights, high-speed Wi-Fi. But inside, it's prison: high walls, electric fence, armed guards everywhere. Workers sit in front of the screens from dawn till midnight, chatting with strangers on Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, or Tinder. They play fake lovers, fake investors, fake friends. Every message, every emoji is scripted. Some pretend to be crypto experts or online traders. They will say, "Let's invest together," or "Trust me, this is how I made my first million." But behind that smiling profile picture is a man trapped in a compound, forced to scam strangers to avoid getting beaten or electrocuted. Every worker has a daily target. Miss it once, you get punished. Miss it twice, you disappeared. People think, I would never fall for that. But these scams are built on psychology, not stupidity. They study human loneliness like a science, and because it is a numbers game, they don't need everyone to fall for it. If each person makes 100 calls or messages a day, and just one victim transfers money, the operation is profitable. A single success can pay for an entire week of operations, and the people running these networks know it. So they keep expanding, hiring programmers to improve their systems, even AI experts to simulate voices and faces. Yes, AI. Today, some scam centers use voice cloning tools to call family members of a kidnapped victim, imitating their voices to demand ransom. Others use AI-generated faces and deepfake videos to maintain relationships with online victims for months. In a dark twist, the scam compounds have become research and development labs for criminal technology. They hire skilled coders, pay them well, and develop custom software, while the trafficked workers handle the dirty work on the front line. Some compounds even attract top-tier hackers, lured by high pay and the challenge of building tools that evade detection. Here is the thing: you cannot just put stolen money in a bank. That's why these syndicates love crypto. Bitcoin has no country, no owner, no central bank, and most importantly, it's hard to trace. After every scam, the money gets converted into cryptocurrency. Sometimes through fake investment apps, sometimes through online gambling platforms owned by the same criminals. From there, it's moved through dozens of wallets, offshore accounts, and dark web exchanges until it's clean. That's why so many of these scam bosses became early Bitcoin whales. When you see Bitcoin prices spike for unknown reasons, remember, part of that demand may come from the underworld, from stolen money trying to disappear. In fact, when the United States prosecutors recently seized 127,000 bitcoins from a Cambodia tycoon involved in similar scams, it was worth nearly $15 billion. That gives you a sense of how massive this underground economy has become. Then came the breaking point on October 20, 2027, at a Ming family compound called Wuhu Shanzhuang. The warlords tried to secretly move hundreds of Chinese hostages. Some realized that they were being sent to another site and tried to escape. Chinese undercover officers embodied inside the compound stepped in, and chaos erupted. The guards opened fire. 4 Chinese citizens were killed, several others injured. That night became known as 10/20 incident. It shocked China, and it awoke the world. Just 1 week later, on October 27, an old rebel group called Kokang Allied Army launched a massive counterattack, reportedly with quiet backing from China. Their mission: destroy the scam laws and liberate the captives. Within weeks, the 4 families' empire collapsed. By January 2024, the local military surrendered, ending more than a decade of criminal rule. Dozens of top crime bosses, the Bai brothers, the Wei clan, the Liu brothers, were handed over to China. It was one of the largest transitional arrests in modern China history. China wasted no time. In early 2025, major trials began. The Ming family, responsible for 10/20 killings, faced death penalty. 11 members were sentenced to death, others to life imprisonment. The Wei and the Liu families were charged with murder, drug trafficking, kidnapping, money laundering, and fraud totaling tens of billions of dollars. For once, the verdict was clear. The age of impunity was over. Meanwhile, the rest of the world joined in. Thailand rescued dozens of victims, including the kidnapped Chinese actor Wang Xing, and then cut off power and internet to known scam zoos on its border. Fraud complaints immediately dropped. Myanmar's own military was forced to raid compounds under international pressure. Even the US and the UK launched sanctions against companies tied to scam operations, targeting smart city projects in Myanmar and Cambodia that were secretly laundering dirty money. Interpol issued global alerts about Southeast Asia's cyber-slavery networks. It wasn't just a Chinese problem anymore. It was everybody's problem, but the story doesn't end there. Scam operations are like a virus. When one area shuts down, they mutate and move. Now, many have shifted to Cambodia, Laos, and even deeper into Myanmar. Satellite data shows new buildings, new walls, new compounds, even Starlink terminals installed to keep them online despite blackouts. And as the technology gets smarter, with AI chatbots, voice deepfakes, and emotion-read scripts, the scams are only getting harder to spot. Tens of thousands of victims have been rescued. Some were trafficked workers, some were people scammed out of their life savings. Many now live in refugee camps, waiting to go home, but home is no longer the same. One survivor told the reporters, inside those compounds, money was worth more than life. It felt like the graveyard of humanity. The fall of Myanmar's scam empire shows what global cooperation can achieve. when police, journalists, hackers, and governments work together. But it's also a warning, because as long as people chase easy money, and as long as digital currencies stay unregulated, the dark web will keep reinventing itself. So, the next time you get a random call from a police officer or a message from a stranger who suddenly seems too nice, remember this story. Remember that man dragged out of his cell in a cocoon net. That gunshot wasn't just the killing, it was the signature, the sound of an empire built on blood and deception. And the world is still learning how to silence it. Subscribe to Dark Asia with Richard, where we uncover the untold stories behind the shadows of the East. See you next time.